Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Exeter Planning Board meeting of
24th, I think.
February 22nd.
Second, yeah,
2024.
second, I'm sorry.
Don't listen to
in
the
the-
standing secretary.
Yeah. And introduce the board. I'm Langdon Plummer, Chair of the Board, and to my left is,
Aaron Brown?
pleased to see him here, and,
Gwen English.
Nancy Belanger, Select Board Representative.
hey,
John Gruder?
and John Gruder.
Oh, wait,
And in a
Jen's
moment-
rolling in.
Jen, did I?
Just a moment, we'll have Miss Jen introduce herself.
It's cheering.
Yeah, they're kind of.
So you are?
Oh, Jen Martell.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, tonight we have some minutes to approve of February 8th, which was our last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. from
I'll second.
February
Oh,
8th.
is this for the last,
Yeah.
February 8th?
Hold on.
For the 8th?
Okay.
Gwen's here, you know how that goes.
Yeah, you know how it goes. I do have some changes.
But were you here the 8th?
Gwen
I
is
wasn't, but
fantastic.
I watched
You
it and
watched
I.
it?
Oh, okay.
Okay, you memorized it.
Wow.
I memorized.
And she's
Yeah, I
got corrections.
memorized. On line 32, the second word should be units, not
Yeah,
unites.
Unites, yeah.
Oh, okay.
On line 55, that paragraph's a little wacky. I would say once a women's seminary school, and then put an and in the 60s burned down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Burned down in 61, so it wasn't school after that. And then on 59, line 59, but he had concerns that permission, I would put in that, between concerns and permission
Okay.
to use it could be revoked. And then line 67, that the last sentence, he described the fence that he owned, and I think it should have "and" put in after that, and the land on both sides. It's
Yes.
kind of weird. The way it's written is odd. Because I think the fence isn't on the property line. I think he said it's in
Right, it's about
No,
15
it's
inches.
in- about
land on
6
both
feet.
sides.
Yeah,
Oh, 6 feet?
So I just put in "and" after the "own."
And is good, yeah.
yeah.
And I think that was it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all I
Yeah,
have.
good.
Okay.
John and I were jumping the gun.
Yeah. Sorry.
So, John, your
No, it's good.
motion was to accept as amended?
As amended, yes.
And I'll second it as amended.
Moved and seconded. It's good for voice vote. Those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda this evening is to continue public hearing on application of 81 Front Street LLC for a multifamily site plan review for the proposed conversion of the existing single-family residence at 81 Front Street into 6 residential condominium units, along with associated parking and site improvements. Subject property is located in the R2 Single Family Residential Zoning District, tax map parcel number 72-195, and it's a planning-based case 24-1, and I will need a motion to move to continue this hearing at our next meeting in March. Dave, is that?
Yeah, I provided a motion in the
Oh, you did?
bottom of my memo that you can use.
14.
Oh, here it is, right here.
Yep.
You're right.
Where is it?
So I will move, if the chair allows, that the request for 81 Front Street LLC Planning Board Case Number 24-1 be continued to the March 14th, 2024 Planning Board meeting at 7 o'clock.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions about that? I think a voice vote again is appropriate, so those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it, so we'll look forward to seeing those folks next time we meet. And in accordance with New Hampshire RSA 41-14-A, consideration of request for a planning board recommendation on the acquisition of 0.45 acres of land from 8 Hampton Road, tax map parcel number 96-6, to be combined with the property at 4 Hampton Road, Exeter Recreation Park, tax map parcel number 69-4, for the purpose of acquiring the land supporting and surrounding Planet Playground. So, Dave, you'd like to talk to that, about that to us?
Sure, just
please?
briefly, you have a plan of land that, in your packet right there, that's a survey that did a lot line adjustment that the board's familiar with, so I won't belabor that, that carved off the piece that Planet Playground sits on. The town had constructed Planet Playground on the adjacent parcel. The town's been active with the, prior owners to purchase the property, but we had a lease. We had a kind of a year-to-year lease. But then we scheduled some improvements because Planet Playground is getting old and it needs new equipment out there. And so we approached the current owner and they were willing to sell it. So we went through the process. We got the lot line adjustment and they signed a purchase and sale. But in order to acquire land, a town has to follow RSA 4114A, which requires review by the various land use boards that are applicable. And in this case, the planning board is always applicable. Sometimes the HDC is involved, sometimes the Heritage, but the planning board and the Concom always have to provide input. We went to the Conservation Commission earlier this month. They recommended acquisition, and I went to the Heritage Commission yesterday, and they recommended acquisition. So you're the last of the three, and then it will go to the Select Board, who have to hold 2 public hearings within a certain amount of days apart, between more than 10 and less than 14 or something very. And my understanding is you're going to have those coming up so they can close on the property. So I show you parcel A is what we're acquiring on the plan, but just give you a visual on Google Maps. And for those at home, this is Hampton Road right here. Holland Way is just off of here that you can't see. Here's our rec park, and here's our parking lot, and Planet Playground sits right here. And it looks like it's part of this, but it isn't. This property right here, it's not this property. This property has as you can see on the plan, is its own, but this Exeter, Exeter, New Hampshire Propco LLC owns this building, but the lot actually extends and includes Planet Playground. I did provide a suggested motion in my memo and be happy to answer any questions you may have. Oh, well, I'll answer the questions. John asked a couple questions at Heritage yesterday, and one, the price is $50,000, the town, and I found out where it's coming from. It's coming from ARPA funds. So.
Whose funds?
Coming from which?
ARPA.
What is it? The American
Rescue something plan.
Something Act.
Are we still spending COVID money?
Rescuing land with rescue money, that's great.
Yeah. So it's ARPA funds.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have one.
Go ahead.
All right. The only other one I remember these recently was piece of land next to the Public Works. That was the same thing. I think it was a lot line adjustment with a property on Route 80. Was that 85 there?
Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise known as No Fields Road?
Yeah, and that was a while ago. I mean, there was
one more recently, just 23 Water Street. But I don't know if you were there at that
I
one.
don't think it was.
Okay. We had a joint.
So I'm curious because of what I do. How much money are we paying? Is it
50,000.
50,000.
Wow.
That's what he said before.
Fire sale.
Ooh. I approve that. I'll approve it twice.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. I thought you were thinking, whoa, 50.
No. In this marketplace,
I
that's
thought you were
a bargain.
upset you couldn't bid on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go on record as getting them cold feet. It's a valid contract.
really.
It's all
Purchase and sale has already been agreed. We're just,
well, that's a very generous contract.
we thought so too.
Yes.
We thought so
That's
too.
nice.
They were very willing to work with us, and
Yeah, that's great.
they've been great,
And
actually.
that's a pretty, I always thought that was very strange. when I learned that part was leased, I'm like, that's a really tenuous position
Yeah.
when you're improving. I just have never been comfortable with that, improving other people's property. You're kind of,
Yes.
at their whim, especially when we started doing more as a town in that location,
Yeah.
So it's a great benefit to the town.
Well, that's why we went after it, because we're like, we don't want to sink, I mean, there's a warrant article for, I think, 300 coming up. I mean, it's not mine, so I forget, but to put improvements, and we're going to get some, use some other funding too, to make significant improvements to the park. And
Right.
why would you do that on a year-to-year lease?
Right.
Like, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this solves a lot of those, it solves everything.
When that
Solves
was
the problem.
originally built, I think there was a lot of volunteer help.
Oh, it's all
There's names
volunteer.
all over the place.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
That was a
anyone
great
who did
event.
something, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was volunteer funding, right,
Yeah.
fundraising.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was
I wasn't
fundraising.
around.
Probably that was-
a really great community thing, huh?
Yeah,
How long ago was that? It was quite a while.
25 years maybe?
Yeah.
22, 20,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's all pressure treated wood that's splintering and everything else. So
It did last what it was expected to last,
it lasted a
though.
long
Yeah.
time. It was well built,
It's
actually.
up-
Yeah.
it's well built and
Yeah.
it's busy.
Right, but it's time.
Yeah.
You want a motion?
Well, I'd like a motion. I think we can read one right off the paper there.
I will read it as best I can. I move that we send a memo to the Select Board indicating that the Planning Board recommends the acquisition of .45 acres of land from the Exeter, New Hampshire Propco LLC property, tax map parcel 96.6, indicated as parcel A on the plan provided, entitled Lot Line Adjustment at 4 and 8 Hampton Road, for the purpose of acquiring the land supporting and surrounding Planet Playground, 4 Hampton Road, Exeter Recreation Park, tax map parcel number 96-4.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, John. Any other questions or discussion? Let's see, let's do a hand vote with your right hand, please. Raise your right hand to support this, vote yes. Okay, any noes or abstentions? The ayes have it. We appreciate the willingness of NH Propco LLC property in working with the town to help this happen. All right, now, we've been given some colored pictures here tonight, so.
We have.
I don't see any
They're
more.
going to educate us on tonight.
Adjourn?
We're going, yeah. It's going off the rails, off script.
Yeah, right.
Dave Sharple's always kind of
Here,
heads
here we go.
I figured since we have, such a short meeting, I thought.
Make it worth our while to drive here, right?
Things
Well, I
after, if
thought
you
they
wouldn't
wouldn't have
mind.
gathered you here tonight, so.
Do you mind if I throw some other business at you?
No, go to other business,
Just
master
easy.
plan discussion, land use. I don't
Well,
know.
master plan discussion, I'm going to the select board Monday night to present the master plan analysis that was presented to you at the last meeting, so going to go and present that to them. The other business was that we recently acquired 23 Water Street
Yes.
for a public park, the vacant lot next to the chocolatier.
Which one?
And that made me think of, that made me reinvigorate. When I first came here, I wondered why Exeter has not asked for an urbanized exemption under state law 483B12. And I've done it in past communities. I think the state actually preferred, that's why they provide the exemption for downtown areas, because shoreland goes from the reference line out to 250 feet with various buffers and requirements. But they also, in the state law, provides that the governing body of a municipality may, in its discretion, request the commissioner to exempt all or a portion of the protected shoreland within its boundaries from the provisions of this chapter if the governing body finds that special local urbanized conditions as defined in RSA 483B4, Roman numeral 25, exist in the protected shoreland for which the exemption is sought. If the governing body of a municipality requests such an exemption, it'll submit evidence of existing and historical patterns of building and development in the protected shoreland in demonstration of the special local urbanized conditions. And you have to talk about current and past building density. And that's why I have a map showing the hatched area of where it is, where we're asking for, not where we're asking, where we're proposing a urbanized exemption could be. And you'll see it in the hatched red, and the current is built out. I mean, it's probably, I don't know what percentages it is of impervious surface area, but I would say it's most of it. There's only really a couple of green strips. One's on Swayze Parkway that has its own limitations, and it's not, nothing's really going to, be done there. The little green strip along Stewart Park where the boat launch is, and it's between the pavement and the boardwalk, just a little green strip there with some trees. That's owned by the town. The next one is 23 Water Street that we recently acquired on the far right-hand side, where on this picture it shows the dam still there, right there. And then across the street, the library, where there's a public park founder. So really, the only green space in this area is all owned by the town of Exeter. The limited space there is. So it doesn't get used that much, the urbanized, shoreland. You don't have a lot, but it's usually, they usually prefer if there's no reason I see not to submit an urbanized exemption. So if we do things, or other people do redevelopment, it just adds another state layer of a permit, which I'm not sure the end result is, okay, you're 100% impervious surface area and you're staying at 100%. Because they manage, vegetated buffer. There aren't any here. There aren't any in these places. So I could have went to the select board because they're the governing body, but I wanted to run it by the planning board first, and then I'm going to have Kristen run it by the Conservation Commission. So if these boards, have any issue with it, I just want to flesh it out, then we don't have to. I don't have to move forward with it. But I did in another, in my previous place, we got an urbanized exemption, and I don't see why we wouldn't do it here.
Can you go over what advantages?
Pros and cons.
What are the
That
advantages?
you don't need a state, if you do any,
You're in the shoreland protection zone, as you're talking about.
shoreland from the state.
Yeah.
DS
State
requires shoreland
protection zone,
permit.
250 feet from a water
250
body.
feet. Yes.
Which I think wasn't it originally put out there? I was always told, and you correct me if my perception is wrong, wasn't it originally put out there to really protect Winnipesaukee?
Well, I don't know about that. I think it was to protect all major water bodies, major rivers, navigable rivers, Winnipesaukee, Great Bay. So
But it's definitely
Swampscott
another
River.
layer. It's another layer for sure for anybody to deal with. But I mean, with the town, when you say we, I'm assuming you're talking about the town or anybody to deal with, right? Does the town have to deal with that? If the town did something, the town still has to go through that state?
Oh,
board?
yes.
They do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that will affect,
when they put the dock
dealing
in?
with the
Yeah.
park.
Like,
the
for
park
example,
part. Fixing the park so it's
one of
safe,
the
new one.
one of the renovations of the apartments,
Yeah.
had a little expansion of the parking out back.
Sure.
They had to go through the state process. I mean, they got approval. There was no
Right.
It was just kind of an extra process that you go through, and it's good if there's vegetation, if there's if there's places to protect. But in that's why they do this and offer this exemption. And when I did it last time, it was a long time ago now, probably 10, 12 years ago now. But they appreciate it. They're like, that's why we put it in there for urban areas.
Yeah.
I think Dover has done it. I know Somersworth, I did it there. Most downtowns.
Because it doesn't change
Do it.
what we do as the local planning board or the ZBA or the historic district. It just means the state doesn't get involved with that Shoreline Protection Act, essentially.
Right? And
goes
they're the
back
ones that
before
approve
that
it.
was in place.
And they're the ones that approve it.
Right.
So
that's right.
if
they're
they
concerned,
feel,
they won't approve.
If they feel that they want to have protection over this, they'll deny the request.
Right.
It's they look at it, examine it, and make a determination. It's not us. The select board, the planning board, conservation commission, select board could all say, yeah, submit the request. But then DES could look at it and say, no, we don't want to exempt it because it's their rules.
Right.
It's their permits. It's all the local regulations still apply.
How long does that run? If you get an exemption?
It's exempt.
Until something happens, they try to change it, or somebody challenge it or something.
Once it's exempt,
Okay.
that I'm aware of.
Got to put in the town put the new dock in.
Yeah,
That took almost a year to get permitted.
yeah.
And then Lions Club gave him the canoe kayak cradle. That took another year.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
when the
still,
town-
that's not,
That's wetland
this is
permit.
shore land.
This is short.
Land.
Okay.
It's above the reference mark. Anything below the reference mark, you're still gonna go.
All right.
You could still you're still gonna get into jurisdictional wetlands, dredge and fill, you're still gonna potentially get into Army Corps.
Okay.
None of that changes. Below
Below.
from the high water mark down, this does not exempt anything.
Okay, yeah.
It only exempts the land above the high water mark.
Seems to make sense to me.
If 23 Water Street was going to be developed and we went ahead with this urbanization deal, how would that impact someone wanting to put in a building? Because now it's raw land, and do they,
It would be one less permit to get.
Yeah, yeah.
And
From an
I guarantee you, they would give them what they wanted.
Okay.
I don't,
you don't see?
no, because it's in where it is.
Yeah.
Where it is, historically, it was a building, but we own it now. We took it as a
Right.
park, so.
Right. I'm
that's
just
not
using
gonna-
that as an example. I mean,
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
private building could burn, God
That's what it would be
forbid,
more like.
down the road, a
If something
bigger,
came down.
bigger lot.
If something
and-
came down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, like a building could burn down,
right.
and then they'd rebuild it. I don't know if there's any exceptions in there for burned down buildings or not. Sometimes I've seen those. I read it today
Might be.
again, but I don't remember seeing that. Sometimes there's exceptions, like if it burns down, you get like 12 months and you don't have to, it's just,
Yeah.
instead of going through the, a year permitting process, you don't have to, so.
Okay.
All this land's developed, and there's really, the only potential is redevelopment. And that doesn't exempt them from coming to us and meeting all our,
So I do have a
Regulation.
question with very little understanding of this at this point.
yeah,
Seward's Park.
yeah.
It's not going to be developed, but we have a flooding issue that's going to have to be dealt with sooner than later. Would that affect that at all?
Yeah, we would not need a shoreland permit.
So it would make it easier for us to make whatever decision, we wouldn't then have to go get it approved.
Yeah,
Thank you.
correct. Yeah,
And this is clearly defined by the hatch marks that you have here.
Correct.
That's
Yep.
the area that would be
correct.
submitted as the urbanization.
Well,
Urbanized
that's
zone.
what I came
That's
up
what
with.
you're-
That's what I came up with, yeah.
Okay.
Because I went to the long block. You got some, after the long block on Franklin Street, you got some vegetation that you can see along the river, and then people have yards and so forth. So I didn't want to include that. I didn't want to include across the river where there's a lot of open space. Although it's disturbed and it's grass, maintained grass, there's no need. I just stuck to basically pavement where it's already basically impervious surface area.
Okay. All right.
How much further on your map on the right? Oops.
I mean, and for example, like when
I
you,
just answered my own question.
yeah, like if me and Ollie's wanted to do an addition, or whatever.
Yeah.
They would be subject to that.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, sure. Trying to make life a little easier makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, especially given the character, it seems actually extremely applicable.
That's why they put it in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
I'm not for,
you still have to go with the
yeah.
best practices of what you're trying to do, and it has to be properly engineered, and like you said, Dave, it would probably just be redevelopment, which all of our local regulations are still going to apply.
Correct.
It's just a potentially, and this is assuming it was granted by the state of New Hampshire, but it's just saying that they're going to look at it and go, well, we're going to give you the permit anyway. You just have to go through the process every time. Makes sense to me.
That's what this is about.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we're going to approve everything, so why are we
Right.
going to take these and
Yeah.
and grind them through the process when, we really don't have anything to review?
Right.
Because there's no vegetation, there's no buffers, it's just pavement.
Yeah.
Pavement and buildings. So, if they approve it, if they don't feel that way, then they won't approve it.
Doesn't mean,
Some of
as a
the,
board, we can't encourage some green space in redevelopment either. You know what I mean? So you still have that opportunity to try to say, hey, what can we do to welcome
Yeah.
some green?
John, you had a question?
Dave, I guess the south side of the street, some of the lots, the line goes right through the lot. You wouldn't, like the old town hall looks like it's cut in half, and then,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to, you don't include a lot? How do you,
You don't have to, because that's 250 feet.
oh, okay.
That's 250
Oh, okay, I
foot
see.
buffer.
All right.
All right,
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
From-
but if they needed, if they're in the zone, right, they'd have to get the permit, even if it's a small part of their lot.
Yeah,
So you're allowing them to be exempt.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Swampscott block, the town hall's in it, the Citizens Bank's in it. That's across the street in Water Street, but that 250 feet, it's just 250 feet, so. If they go over, like, most of it's outside of it, the big lot that PA owns where the parking lot is.
Yep.
If there was any redevelopment there, because AOT still applies, any of the other state regulations, jurisdictional wetlands, so
AOT.
forth. Alteration of terrain.
Thank you.
That floods anyway. They fill it up on posts. So do you need a consensus, or do you need a motion?
I kind of just wanted to make you aware of it to see if anyone had any heartburns, because I'm not necessarily, married to the idea. Just like, okay, if it, but it's not bad. I wouldn't have brought it forward if I didn't think it was a, good idea, just to alleviate one
it?
step in the process that
Is it going
may
to,
not be necessary.
make some of the approving process easier for your office?
No, because it doesn't have anything to do with
Really,
that.
for the
It's only a state permit.
Yeah.
It just alleviates a potential landowner from
Yes.
acquiring an additional permit to do
So,
something
makes it easier for the landowner. Okay.
Just in this area. Everything, the shoreland, everywhere else
Yep.
applies in Exeter. The only exemption is for the hatch mark, where you have current and historic building density. That's why I provided you the 1884, and it looked like it was even more dense in 1884.
Yeah.
There's some buildings.
There's some
Have the
buildings
back
that are
foot right in the
taller.
water.
and-
Yeah,
So you look on the
they're-
other side of the river.
Yeah, there's a lot of buildings that aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and vice versa.
it's definitely
It's definitely J.D. Hill wasn't.
been disturbed for a long time. So if you're okay with it, I was gonna, I'm gonna go to the Concom next, see what their thoughts are. And if nobody has any, silly heartburn, or they support it or whatever, then either support it neutral or support it. I'd probably bring it to the select board and at some point in the
If you
future
think
after
it's
the
helpful
Concom meeting.
to have our support instead of just neutral, we can
I-
always vote.
You
or-
can, you can, I'd welcome it, I just
Yeah.
didn't know if you were in a position, if you felt like
You
it,
feel
sure.
that.
I do.
I think,
Give us
I
a little
mean,
motion, yeah.
yeah.
You-
Come up with a-
No, it's not that. I'm just waiting to hear the motion, because
Oh.
being on the select board, I want to, I'm just waiting to hear.
Got it.
I was going to say, I would make a motion to support the Exeter urbanized exemption request as proposed by David Sharples, and encourage the other land use boards to support it as well.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Okay, would you like a hand vote or a voice vote?
Let's go with a voice vote.
Okay. Those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions? You got
I'm
it?
going to abstain, Mr. Chair, just because I'm on the select board and I'm also a rep
All right, well,
to conservation.
That's fine, yeah, I understand that.
So
Thank you.
just-
We still passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now what else you got up your sleeve, Dave?
I got,
It's got an ace of hearts in there somewhere like
Right.
that.
no, wait a minute.
These are great.
Yeah, the old pictures.
Yeah.
Off the maps.
Gee,
This is really cool, actually.
Yes,
Look at all the woods.
Look at the boat coming
Yeah.
down the river.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're under attack by pirates.
Okay, now,
Right.
I would ask if the board is willing to vote to go into non-public session under 91A3, Roman numeral 2, little l, consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel either in writing or orally to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second?
Gwen, yep.
I think Gwen, did you?
Yes, she
I
did.
seconded
You did
it.
second?
I did.
Are those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. Turn the sound off.
I'm not sure, so I'm going to do it again, just to be on the safe side.
We do.
I'll consider it done
I think
then.
we do.
So we're back, right?
We're back.
So I am going to motion that we seal our non-public meeting minutes until the issue is resolved.
Okay,
I'll second it.
second? Okay, and we'll go,
We can all do it. Yep.
voice votes, okay? So those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Okay, is there anything else, Dave?
Not tonight.
Barbara hasn't found any more money?
Oh, she has. I haven't signed them yet. I got a stack on my desk. So I'll tell you about it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Barbara should get fruit baskets,
Yeah.
flowers, or something
We gotta
from
give
some of these
No,
people.
especially from all the people she send them.
That's who I'm talking about.
People, she get back 5%.
Right.
How did was it the planning, parking, was there a parking
Oh, that's-
presentation Monday, this?
Yeah, at the last select board.
Oh,
Didn't-
okay.
yeah.
At
Like
the
this
last
past
select-
Yeah.
Monday, was it?
Yeah.
Just this past Monday.
Past
the
Monday, yes.
Oh, was the
before.
Monday before?
Yes. Yes, because we have 2 in a row coming up, so sorry.
Yeah, I thought that went well. I mean, it's
Okay. Is it must, so it's on TV.
Yes.
it's on TV. The draft plan is on the website. They haven't finalized it. Once it's finalized, we'll throw it there. They have some interesting recommendations. Encourage the board to go
Options,
look
yep.
at those. Yeah, options that we
Yeah.
can. You know, they have. They did a pretty thorough job. I think they got a lot of data, a lot of information. But, you know, there's some recommendations that, you know, some low-hanging fruits, some,
Yeah.
you know, pretty extensive ones. But I thought they were all worthy of discussion and exploring. So that,
The select board had a lot to think about after that meeting. It was a great meeting because it had this outfit that look over the whole management of the town. With some, and if you have a chance to watch that, the guys, they gave a lot of thought to that. So how you were able to hear a second report, again.
Oh, that was
report.
yeah.
Boom, boom.
Because yes.
and they recommended paid parking downtown.
Yep.
And like a combination of paid parking, permit parking to manage the parking and.
Keep people-
Because it's full on Water Street, it's full in the municipal lot, to kind of get, and people stay there longer than the time is allowed, and there's no enforcement. So that's a mechanism for enforcement to kind of move people out and get turnover in front of businesses and in the downtown and kind of maybe move people that are staying there longer out a little bit and walk in. And to do that, they also looked at pedestrian access and pedestrian safety, because it's not just about moving them out, but then how do you get them here safely? And they've got a couple of, you know, proposal recommendations that include looking at the bandstand area to make it a full-way stop, like by Spring Bridge and Water
Yeah.
Street and Front Street. And making a potential plaza area in front of between the town hall and the bandstand.
We had
Yep.
that idea several years ago, too.
It's
That's been kicked around a
a few
lot.
times, yeah,
it's been kicked around a few
yeah,
times.
and lighting at our crosswalks.
Lighting at
If
our
you're walking
crosswalks.
around downtown at night, our crosswalks are not well.
Every time we leave this
well lit.
meeting, we have to go across the street.
I was leaving the church
You
last
mentioned the
night.
lack of lighting at this one right here, and a ton of pavement. I mean, you gotta,
Yeah.
you go a long way.
People could take that the wrong way,
Yeah, I
going
do.
Yeah.
run me over.
I
Yeah,
almost hit
What
him
was
in the
that about?
crosswalk
Yeah.
tonight.
So, and yes, and then we had the
Saving
other.
enough trees
And
that last meeting.
also online, the dam,
trees.
Pickpocket Dam feasibility study is now available. Public meetings
Public
Tuesday night, the
meeting on
26th.
27th of February, Tuesday.
Is it the 27th? Oh, I said the
Public
26th,
dam
sorry.
Feasibility study. in
7
the town
PM.
hall.
Yes,
Bad place.
be
to
there.
at the Town hall. They should put it at the high school someplace.
Well,
Because it sounds so lousy.
I know, we'll have to see how it goes.
Anyway, yeah, so, but that, now, is that online?
It is.
It is.
It was online, what's today? Thursday?
Well-
It was online
Now I need to do.
Tuesday night. They were able to get it on, had a little difficulty, but they got it on there.
So just a sidelight, I happened to be in Durham yesterday, stopped to get some pizza, and they have paid parking. But you can park free for an hour, but you still have to go through the system, so,
Was it a kiosk?
A kiosk, yeah.
Okay.
So not costing anybody anything, but you go to the process and put it on your dash, so they know same
got
thing's
it.
happening, you gotta move in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Interesting.
That is-
Ooh, this is good.
kinda
Free
like
parking for
that.
pizza.
Keeps things
I think
moving too.
Well,
Is the
Even a
point.
half an
that's
hour.
right, Aaron, that's the point.
Keep people moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really not a huge revenue stream.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Nice to just break even.
Yeah.
Jen, you
right,
haven't said
happy
much
with that.
tonight,
exactly.
other than introduce yourself.
If we go that route, it would, it's
Don't
know
not a
much
money-making process.
All the comments were great.
Although they go really late, it's only like $1 an hour or something.
Well, not
If
how
they
about
go at 8
a,
o'clock.
he's too busy.
Yeah.
Pretty late.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah,
Oh,
now
we
we're
have-
talking parking, so.
We have a
Motion to adjourn,
Is there a second?
John seconded.
Oh, good. Those in favor?
Second, third,
Aye.
Aye.
sixth.
We stand adjourned. Thank you very much for coming
Thank you
down,
for
Dave.
tuning in
Oh.
to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.